I wanted to start off by letting our officers and Rebecca introduce ourselves really quickly. My name's Sarah. I'm actually a nutrition sciences major as well. Dr. McKinley is one of my professors, so that's kind of how we were able to get in contact and set up this opportunity. And I am serving as president of Hands It Here. Blakely, if you wanted to go ahead.
Hey y'all, my name's Blakely. I'm a sophomore here at LSU. I am a ComD major and I serve as Hands It Here secretary.
And Rebecca.
Hello, my name is Rebecca. This is my sign name. And my major is accounting. And I'm a member of Hands That Hear.
Awesome. So just to kind of start off a little bit about, who we are. Last year, we're actually a fairly new organization. We just had our first birthday in the beginning of March. We saw opportunities on LSU's campus to better serve and accept the deaf and hard of hearing students. We wanted to be able to improve communication between hearing and deaf individuals here at LSU. We're a fairly new organization. Last year, and starting in like the fall of 2019, we started working to come up with a constitution and work with LSU on how to create an organization that helps both the hearing, deaf, and hard of hearing populations at LSU and around our campus. We're working, to create a campus where all people, no matter, if you're deaf, hard of hearing, or hearing, feel welcome and included, and we're able to kind of, bridge the gap between those populations. We try really hard to spread deaf awareness on campus through education and experiences for our members. We want to learn not only, we learn sign language, obviously, but also more in depth about the deaf and hard of hearing cultures. And, just come together to serve the local and deaf communities. So, but Rebecca, you can go.
Okay. So, community respect. This is talking about deaf culture, and that leads us to, like, number one, we are deaf, not hearing impaired. So that's a term we don't use. We use deaf, and we use deaf and hard of hearing. Also, don't shout over a deaf and hard of hearing person or to a deaf and hard of hearing person because they can't hear you. So, I mean, they may be able to feel vibrations, but, use your normal voice when you're trying to communicate with them or use gestures. Number three, when talking to a deaf or hard of hearing person, make sure that you keep your mouth visible so it's easier to keep a line of communication. So it just helps with communication. Yeah. Next, continuing this, next on number 4, if you ever communicate with someone who is deaf through an interpreter, remember to direct your attention to the person you're speaking with, not the interpreter. So, number 5, if you ever meet someone who is deaf or hard of hearing without an interpreter present, you can, like if you can't sign to them, you can tell them, hey, like, let's text. So you can use your phone or you can write on paper to communicate. Number 6, if you want to get a deaf person's attention, you can wave, or don't wave really aggressively or tap really hard, but gently tap them because they can't hear you. So just yelling or clapping in their face is not respectful. just gently tap their shoulder. And so that's appropriate in deaf culture.
Okay, so this is just some ASL background. ASL has been a language that's been used since the early 1800s to help communicate between deaf, hard of hearing, and hearing individuals. It's not directly translated from English. It has its own grammar, own sentence structure, and history. ASL is actually derived from French Sign Language. So it wasn't even based off of like British Sign Language. It was based off of French Sign Language. So that's kind of where the discrepancies come from. ASL is not universal. Different countries have their own version of sign language. Like ours is based off of French Sign Language. There's British Sign Language. You know, every country kind of has their own thing, which I think that makes it even more special. The best way to learn ASL is by taking classes from somebody who uses it daily to communicate. I would say even better than that, you know, is learning it directly from a deaf person or hard of hearing person. And I think that's just especially better because you get to learn the culture from them as well. As much as I love the hearing people that I've learned ASL from, it's really incredible to learn it from people who grew up with it, who learned ASL from their deaf parents and grandparents. You know, you really get a feel for the culture, and you learn a lot of respect for it as well. And some exciting news, student government just passed a bill to recognize ASL as a foreign language. So that is moving up to, you know, in the dean of HSS, the dean of the foreign language department, and hopefully we will get all that settled pretty soon. So ASL classes will be recognized if you take them at another university. And I know their end goal is to have it offered at LSU. So hopefully we'll be seeing some more ASL around campus real soon.
Okay, so now Rebecca is going to give a ASL demonstration. How do I get out of here? There we go. If you can't see Rebecca, because Zoom kind of shows the camera based off of speaking, be sure to click on Rebecca's video and you can pin it. Our interpreter, Miss Alvina, is going to interpret. So if you want to be able to see Rebecca, make sure to pin her video. So whenever you're ready, Rebecca.
Okay, we have A is like this, A. This is B. C. D. E. F. G, see it from this side, G, like this, H, this is what it looks like from the other side, but it's H, like this, I, J, J, K, see where the thumb is, K, L, M, M, N, O, P, notice this is what it looks like, P, Q, this is what it looks like from another angle, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, Z. Okay, so now as far as introductions, hello, my name is, so, and then to say, my name, this is my, so hello, like this, hello, hello, my name, name. So is, I mean, you can do either with the I or the pointer finger, or you can just say my name and then go ahead and spell it, or my name is, either one. Nice, so this next one, now you're meeting someone, so you say nice, nice, and then these are two people meeting, so bring them together, these people, bring them together, that's meet, meet you. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
I understand that. Oh, I did not mean to stop sharing, but I went ahead and did. We understand that learning the alphabet, I know it took me whenever I started learning sign language, I think a couple weeks. So we'd be happy to send that PowerPoint to Dr. McKinley if you wanted to send it out to the SNDA members to further practice. Thank you so much for having us. That's all we had prepared. Here's our social media. If you wanted to, we'd love to keep in touch. We'd love to keep in touch with everyone. So here's our social media. We'd love to spend any time we have left. If you have any questions for us, you know, Rebecca, even our interpreter, Miss Alvena, she has great experiences also. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Does it matter what hand that you sign with, like if you're doing the alphabet or anything like that?
You use I use my right hand. I use my right hand. I
use my left hand. So it's pretty, it doesn't matter. It's whatever your like dominant hand is. I'm a little weird for some reason. It's usually the hand you write with, but I write with my right hand, but I'm most comfortable signing dominantly with my left hand. So some people are comfortable equally with both, but it's your preference. There's no like rule to it. That was a really good question.
But you usually you use your right hand for the alphabet. Yeah.
So for the alphabet, when you do like the letters like G and H, does it matter which way? Like if you have like your thumb side showing or like to you?
If you like can't see and you're trying to show H, like how you sign H, then that's why I was pointing it out to show you what it looked like from my angle. That's why I did it this way, but this is the proper production.
Any other questions?
I have one for Rebecca. What has it been like with COVID and people wearing masks and not having their mouths visible? What have you been doing to try to overcome that?
Yeah. So if you can't hear and then there's a mask and you can't read their lips, you can still write and text, or use sign language. But with the mask, you can use a clear mask. Those exist and you can see them speaking. But if their mouths are completely covered, then speaking wouldn't be effective.
If no one else has any questions, I know Blakely, Rebecca, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you. Again, we'd love to stay in touch. So thank you all. I'll send that PowerPoint to you, Dr. McKinley. And so stop share. There we go. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
A wonderful meeting, the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Before you leave, I wanted to tell the story about how Sarah and I got connected with this, because she called me out, and it's the most appreciative call out I've ever had in my life. So I was teaching about accessibility in the community nutrition class, and I was just using words and verbiage that LSU taught us when they were teaching us about accessible documents and electronic things. And I said hearing impaired, because LSU uses the words visual and hearing impaired. And so that's what I used, and I didn't know any better. And then before class ended, Sarah was in my email like, "Hi, yes, excuse me." And she compliment sandwiched. She was like, "Thank you for bringing this up. You didn't do it right, and here's how you do it, but thank you." And I was like, I didn't know that I was saying it wrong, that it's deaf or hard of hearing, because I'm mobility impaired, and I use the word impaired because I can't move my hands a certain way. So when people ask, I like to make it very clear that I'm impaired in some way. But in this community, that is not the case, and I didn't know that. So I was like, wow, this is the first time a student came correct and came 100 to me and was like, this is not how you speak about this community. And I'm so appreciative of it, because we started emailing about Hands That Hear, and I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for nutrition students to get connected, because you are all going to come in contact with folks in your internships, med school, in the future as medical and health professionals, with folks that are deaf or hard of hearing. And any exposure that you can get to working with this community while you're training will make you more comfortable and will maybe inspire you to go a little further and maybe take ASL classes and want to maybe specialize with working with those individuals that are deaf or hard of hearing. So I think this is a great connection to make. We'll have to have you back in the future, when we have more new members next year, to do another one of these, because this was really awesome and different than what we usually have. So thank you, Sarah, for calling me out.
Thank you so much for appreciating it. I was so nervous to send that email, but I was like, she's so, Dr. McKinley and the members know, she's always talking about accessibility and equity and inclusion. So I was like, she's someone that would probably not take offense to it. So thank you for allowing me to do that. I was like, should I or should I not?
No, you should. We don't know. We don't know until someone tells us we're incorrect. So I was like, yes, this is exactly how students should be calling us out.
And that's something at LSU that we're actively trying to change, is the education and awareness aspect of it. Because you have people in administration that, aren't well versed in you don't need to know sign language to be well versed in deaf culture and respect. So that's kind of something that we're trying to change the culture at LSU. And you spoke about really quickly about being in the professional world and coming across people that aren't exactly like you. I actually work in a hospital and in a vaccine clinic. I work in a hospital, and I had a patient come in for their COVID vaccine, and they were deaf, and I was able to communicate with them. So just that small interaction, it means a lot. So whenever you can learn something new, it's always a great experience. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So it's our last meeting, which means we're also going to do some awards. But first of all, if you haven't picked up your snazzy SNDA t-shirt, you need to do that. So email Dr. email Dr. McKinley if your name is on this list to arrange a time to pick that up. You paid for it, I'm sure you want it. And then Aspire internships. So this is through the LSU Ag Center, and I know Dr. McKinley has one spot available this summer if you want to talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, this is a grant that we got with 4-H through USDA and NEPA, and it allows for students, rising juniors, seniors, to get involved in agriculture and research in an area that they're interested in. So this is open to not just LSU students, but students at LSU A and E, Southern, and another school in Louisiana. But I have one spot that's open. So essentially it would be a 40-hour a week, 10-week internship where you get paid to do a small research project of your choice, kind of whatever you're interested in that we can accomplish in that short amount of time. In addition to the program itself has some things that you would need to do with regard to professional development, but y'all know that that's my specialty with resumes and all that kind of stuff. So you definitely have the best mentor for anything regarding that. So to apply, if you go to that website, it has the information. You're pretty much submitting their application with your resume, a cover letter, your transcript, and then 2 letters of recommendation. I can't write you a letter for my intern spot, but if you wanted to go and do an internship with horticulture or entomology or animal sciences, one of the other open spots, I can write you a letter for somebody else's internship spot. But that's they're going to be accepting applications through Friday. So it's a great opportunity to pretty much have a job for 10 weeks out of the summer.
And then some other job openings. Clean Creations is hiring, and they're a New Orleans-based healthy meal delivery service, and they are opening a second location in Highland Marketplace in Baton Rouge. So if you don't know where that is, it's kind of like by Blue Bayou, if you know where that is. And then Aspen Clinic is hiring as well, kind of out in that same area, which is 15 minutes from LSU. And this is a great job opportunity, kind of see a little bit more clinical side of things with the nutrition counseling position. And I know Anna knows a little bit more about that. So if you have questions, I'm sure she'd be happy to talk to you about it. And then also a job at Pennington is now available for preferably a current freshman or sophomore with just some office work, data entry, phone calls, kind of more of the behind the scene things, but definitely still great experience. And yeah, if you're interested, you can contact Alexa Bennett, who is now in RD. She graduated from here. So sweet. So yeah.
And she worked at Pennington, and she wanted me to tell you that she has her job at Pennington now because she worked at Pennington as a student. They already knew her, they trusted her, and it was very easy for her to get hired. And so even though she worked in a different department, so definitely a good connection. And they would like a freshman or sophomore because they want to train someone up. They don't want someone that's just going to be there for a year. They'd like someone that they can kind of entry level with some more office behind the scenes stuff. And then by the time you're a senior, you'd be kind of deep in helping with a little bit more complicated research stuff.
And then our 2020-2021 DI match rate so far is 92.85% of spring applicants have matched to DI programs, and 96.4% have been accepted to a DI or graduate program. So there's a list. Shout out to our SNDA members who matched. Y'all are amazing. And yeah, if you see somebody who matched to a program you're interested in, you know, stay in contact with them. Let them see how they enjoy it. So, and then thank you to our mentors and mentees this year. I really loved this program this whole year. I think it was so great, not only for the mentors, but the mentees as well. So shout out to everyone on this list.
So if you're a mentor or a mentee, you will get a certificate of completion for the inaugural year of us having the program. So if you're a senior, if you're getting any certificates from me today, I'll put them in your big envelope that you get when I send your verification statement in a couple of weeks. And if you are not graduating, they will just be in my office and you can come by and pick up your stuff whenever.
And then our SNDA April member of the month is Peyton Cherry. Woo!
She's not on the call. Ooh, Peyton. But yay, Peyton. She's been volunteering. She didn't quite get enough points to get an award, so I wanted to recognize her through a member of the month. She's been coming to our diversity talks. She's been trying to get really involved and get as much exposure to things as possible, and she's our incoming fundraising co-chair for next year, so she's going to be rocking it as a senior.
And talking about service awards, shout out to our Bronze Service Awards recipients, Abby, Rachel, and Audrey. Audrey looking all cute with her
Audrey's getting married.
I know. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I totally stalked your Facebook for that photo.
Our Silver Service Award recipients are Shelby, Andy, and me.
There's a three-way tie for silver.
Woo! And then last but certainly not least, our Gold Service Award goes to Amy, who's done such an incredible job this year with everything. So well deserved.
So just to give y'all an idea of points and whatnot. So the Silver Service Award folks, you guys were all tied with like 22 or 23 points. Amy had 105 service points. So if anyone's wondering what it takes to get a Gold Service Award, Amy knocked it out of the park this year. So there was no contest on that one. So for those that will be here next year that want to go in the running for a service award, it's anything and everything. We love Amy. We're going to miss her.
And then congratulations to Dr. McKinley for being the Senior Choice Faculty Member of the Year. So this was voted on by the senior members of SNDA. And big congratulations.
Thank you. I'm supposed to give some sort of inspirational talk. That's what we usually ask the person who wins this award to do. But y'all have probably heard one from me before. So I guess since we're recording this, for our seniors, I love you guys. I'm going to miss the heck out of y'all because I think, well, I've been with y'all the longest so far. And so some of you I've met from the day you stepped on campus as a transfer student or sophomore year when you had no idea what you had gotten yourself into. And so I like and always appreciate seeing the growth that you guys have had over the years, where you really were looking at me like, what am I supposed to do with my life? And now you guys are matched to internships and going on to med school and grad school and know exactly what you want, and happy to be a part of that journey. And so don't forget, I'm going to be here until they tell me I can't be here anymore. So don't forget to keep in touch when some of you are going to be here. You're going to be right down the road. So you have to get involved with brand because I'm pretty sure I'm president again this year. I ran unopposed. So I will need help with that. And even if you leave town, when you come back, come visit, come talk to the students, come share your experiences. I'll be bugging you for that anyway, probably, to talk to future generations of students. Pretty much like LSU, we are the best and people know it. And I think we've gotten a heck of a lot better in the last couple of years with making sure that we are graduating the strongest students possible. And just in the phone calls that I got since match day from other universities that were begging me for students, Like, please, please, please tell me you have somebody that needs a spot, like schools you wouldn't even imagine. And I think maybe the podcast kind of helped with that a little bit, with opening that line of communication. But I was very shocked when the phone was ringing and there were people like, I want an LSU student. It's like, oh, well, maybe you should have said something 6 months ago, and I could have convinced a student to go to your institution. So they want students from this program. So just like I've always said, kind of trust me, trust the process, trust all of my craziness, because it's all going to work out pretty well for you in the end. Even though you might not have 100% of your days confident that that's going to happen, just look back at the last couple of years from our students and just see how successful they've been in getting internships, completing their internships, and now they're RDs in the area, and then they want you to be RDs with them. It's pretty cool when you really stop and look at it. So thank you for giving me this award that I can put on the wall and remember the seniors by. But just don't forget, we're home to you. So don't forget to come visit us.
And last but not least, good luck on finals. Y'all got this. The home stretch. Make sure y'all are taking care of yourself during this next week. And yeah, have a good summer. All right. Well, y'all have a good rest of your week. I have loved serving as your president this year. So can't wait to see SNDA grow even more next year.